Do it normal.
No. Stop it.
Welcome
No.
to the
No.
mailbag.
No more.
Mailbag.
No more beatboxing.
Welcome to the Beacon House mailbag.
God, I hate you guys.
Welcome to the Beacon House podcast, recorded live in Knoxville, Tennessee.
Anyways, so that's the last time I'll buy a cat from Schrodinger's pet store.
Oh, no. Oh, God. What the fuck?
Let me ask you this. Did you receive the cat in a box or not in a box?
It was alive, I think. I'm not 100% sure because I didn't look in the box. So its existence is completely theoretical.
Yeah, I guess you don't get a warranty with that cat.
Oh, God. I love you, Bilbo. If you ever hear this.
Guys, what's up? Welcome to Beacon House episode motherfucking 30.
Ooh.
Mailbag number 3.
This episode's half as old as Spencer now.
He said mailbag 30?
I said mailbag 3, episode 30. You've known
Oh,
that.
okay. Got it.
Edit. If you guys, I'm going to be editing this one in another state.
Content and continuity.
Yeah, if you guys could just not fuck up so much on this one.
All right. I'm going to cut it right here. Before we start, I've got to talk to you guys about something. I texted you about it last night. And I think that...
Casey, it happens to a lot of guys.
No, so I want to talk about the Sunspot Observatory. I texted about you last night. Hunter went and looked it up, and he's freaked out about it
I'm
now.
not okay with it at all.
I'm prepared to not be very impressed with
You
this.
probably won't be.
In New Mexico, the Sunspot Observatory is like a museum up on the mountain where you go and like look at stuff. If I read it correctly. Mm-hmm. And last week, the FBI came in, evacuated the whole area, and it's been shut down under government surveillance for the last week.
And they won't say anything about
Armed
it.
guards. They've kicked people out of their houses that live nearby.
Whoa.
They've set up shop in a post office in a town nearby. They have armed guards in all the streets. No one's allowed in or out.
Black Hawk helicopters.
Okay, and what do you when you read up about this? What do they say? Like, are they providing any explanation? What are the town?
No, they're
folk?
not. They're
Whatever
not
it is,
an
we're not going to
explanation.
get. We're never going to find out what it truly was.
Okay, and it was just an observatory, like a telescope. Or
Yeah, it
something.
looks at the sun. That's
Okay.
it.
Yep. But it's also on property of an old military base from the 70s, an old Air Force base.
Not too far away from where Roswell happened, and you can see the site of the first atomic testing, the bomb tests here in America from there too. So it's like triangulated within a bunch of weird scientific hotspots.
Stranger Things. That's all I'm saying. There's a Demogorgon running around there.
I mean, I believe the government does stuff like that. We talked about Montauk Point and the Philadelphia experiment. And all
Yeah,
that.
I'm thinking it's probably leaning more Montauk type stuff is what's
here's-
happening.
yeah,
they cracked open they opened a door to something.
Yeah,
else
they literally this thing that Casey.
What years was it? Was it like a functional laboratory? Like, were they actually doing experiments? Or was it just a fucking observatory where the public could go?
It was a public observatory.
So basically, you're dealing with like a
But
like a
from
public
my
park.
understanding is there's areas in that observatory where public couldn't go.
Yes.
Okay, so there was a scientific aspect.
Yeah,
like,
but it wasn't totally shut off.
Right.
Like you were encouraged to go and.
kind of like the Oak Ridge National Laboratory.
That's a good way
Right.
to look at it.
Museum.
Yeah.
Like you can come to the gift shop, but stay the fuck out of that hallway back there.
Right.
And
Okay.
the FBI just showed up unannounced and get the fuck out. We're taking over.
So here's my theories. It's either they saw something in the telescope, and they don't want anybody there messing around with the telescope,
Black Knight satellite.
which is that's bizarre all in itself. That's weird. There's also there could be aliens or some sort of Montauk project. The more likely situation is that they somehow, some way, a weird, rare, or very new pathogen has been released in that area, and they're trying to contain it.
Well, I was going to say, you said that it was the FBI or the CIA?
It's the FBI.
Okay, typically when the FBI goes in to do something, they don't even know what they're dealing with. That's more of like a police type operation. But if the CIA shows up, dude, that's when it's fucking aliens and
Oh, yeah.
You're dealing with lizard people and aliens at that point. Or
Well,
I mean,
the
the
problem-
fucking CIA shows up, game over.
The problem is that they have announced and admitted that something bad happened, which you would figure out from the evacuation to begin with. But
Right.
the issue is that when talked about it, all they say is that they've evacuated and shut down the facility until they can quell or come figure out whatever the mysterious threat is. A mysterious threat is the quote.
Cover up.
See, my first thing was thinking, well, maybe they saw something. Maybe they saw something on this telescope that they don't want anybody else. But you could see that from any other telescope.
You could.
Hubble would have picked that
Right.
up, so it can't be that. It's got to be something.
Yeah, but Hubble goes back to NASA, though, right?
And talking, somebody that I talked to that brought
I don't know.
brought it to my attention too. I didn't know this. Said that, let's see, pull it up on the text message. That telescope uses a ton of mercury up there. So it could be the fact that thing maybe shattered and released a bunch of mercury all over the
Some
place.
fucking kid threw his shoe at it.
Yeah.
There we go.
It could. Well, that's the problem, is that it could be something, still interesting to know what's going on, but something as simple as a mercury spill.
Dude, what if it's
or-
like the end of the world? And this entire podcast is just going to be like one of the blurbs of the last days of civilization. Like, dude, what do you think happened to that fucking observer? Dude, I don't know. Anyway.
We're the first 5 minutes into I Am Legend.
Yeah.
No, we found a cure to cancer. It's the greatest thing ever. And it's like 20 years later, Will Smith with his dog and weird vampires.
all this rubble. I don't know. I mean, I really don't. I would
It's
have
weird,
to,
right?
It's super weird, and I agree. And
Its position is part of what's leaning everything into being not even looking at outer space, but being so close to Roswell and nuke tests.
But my concern with the thing, honestly, just from the information you've given me, would be more like the secrecy aspect of it. Like if they've evacuated people from their homes and all this kind of stuff, like. At some point, somebody's got to provide an explanation, even if it's a fake explanation, like they did with Roswell. They eventually lied about Roswell. Well, assuming
They did.
They lied up front, and then it came out here in the last, I think, like 5 or 10 years that they did lie about it.
right.
But the strangest thing about it is how they're containing it too, because again, Black Hawk helicopters verified by the sheriff the day of, and all that, and the FBI did go in there in charge of it. But all they have posted from the last thing I read, which was like 11 hours ago, quotes from the time I read it this morning, was they have 2 guards stationed there, and that's it. There's no other presence now. They're just there. According to that article, at least.
Right.
And I was looking at stuff like CNN and CBS and Washington Post and all that to.
Which is weird that they're covering it. Mm-hmm. Like, that in itself is already bizarre, that Fox News and CNN are like, check this out.
But then there's some dumbass YouTuber. Again, I haven't seen the video yet, but there's in the thumbnail, he's pointing at the top of the thing. He goes under the yellow crime scene tape somehow. Maybe the guards were smoking or who knows what, but he goes under and inside the place and just explores it. And then
nothing.
leaves. And everyone talking about that said that the video's really creepy because, a lab in a facility that's empty.
Resident Evil.
But
Well, then
but
also, you got to
otherwise-
think, is that the actual place, or did he just
That's
go
the
into a
question.
laboratory that was closed for Sunday and recorded a video?
That
And
is
was
the
like, nope,
question.
this is totally Sunspot Observatory.
Yeah. Again, considering the source, I don't know. Tell everybody, tell the listeners again exactly what they need to Google. What's the place called? Sunspot.
Sunspot Observatory in New
Sunspot
Mexico.
Observatory. Guys-
Solar Observatory.
Sunspot Solar Observatory.
In New Mexico.
Yeah, Sunspot should do it, but just to be safe, put solar in there. And
I mean, if it's that big of a deal, I'd say it'll probably come up in a feed pretty quick.
Oh, yeah.
You guys check it out. How about that? How about we put the Beacon House audience on investigative duty? You guys find out what's going on. Let us know.
Put it on Facebook. Put it on YouTube.
Put
Down
it
in
on
the comments.
Facebook Live.
That's right.
YouTube Live.
What's going on with this Sunspot place? If we're going to die, we'd like to know. But we'd like to at least get another episode out if this is the end. Okay.
Hey, Casey, after Beacon House's 3rd expansion at the beginning of the year, do you maybe want to do a found footage horror film about the Sunspot Observatory?
Yeah. I'd be down with that.
We'll see you guys in 2020.
Shit.
Guys, what's that noise?
What's that sound, Casey?
Oh, God.
I don't know. Is it getting out of the hole again?
It's our mail. It's our mail coffin.
Get out. Get
Hunter
out.
ruined it.
All right, guys. So
It's
we're here.
that time.
It's that time. We know why you came here. We know what you're expecting. We've got our questions here. We want to say, let's start out with saying thanks to everybody that came out to the meetup at Joe Muggs.
Absolutely.
yeah, that was
Give these
way
guys a
bigger
hand.
than I expected.
Thank you so much for coming out and hanging out with us. It was big fun. Thanks to again, we could name everybody, but you know who you are. You guys are great. Thanks for coming out. Thanks for submitting questions in our little mailbag coffin. It's Hunter. Thank you for making this. It was awesome. And you guys can see
It'll
the coffin.
only get dumber as time goes on.
If you're not here, if you weren't at the meetup, or you go look on our Instagram, you'll see the coffin. It's full of questions, and we're going to randomly just pull a couple out until we run out of time here.
A coffin full of questions.
A coffin full of questions, and and we're just going to go. Okay, so
I got the first one right here.
Casey's already got the first one here.
Oh, and we are reading these for the first time. We didn't peek at them.
That's right.
Yes, I wanted to, but Hunter stole the box.
I just thought if
Yeah.
there's any doozies in there, it'd be worth it to catch genuine reactions.
So we don't know what's
that's
coming
fair.
out. Some may be good, they may be bad. We let's reserve the right to pass on one if it's kind of watery. And no
Yeah.
offense to anybody. And if there's a name, we'll thank the person. If it's anonymous, we'll just thank whatever. But here we go.
This one does not have a name on it, but I feel like I remember who wrote this one, but I don't want to call out the name just in case it wasn't that person.
All right,
but
all right.
you know who you are.
Let's go.
If someone you loved was killed right in front of you, but someone created a copy of them that was perfect right down to the atomic level, would they be the same person, and would you love them just as much? Hunter, this is mainly for you, bud.
Answer carefully.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what we say. You have to fucking
I
pay.
would wish the copy all the best in the world and probably go through much psychological damage in trying to reconcile the copy versus the original person. But the original person is the person I loved, and the copy is a freak of nature and unnatural and needs to go somewhere.
Shit.
This is straight up a Black Mirror episode, I believe,
it totally
from
is.
season 2.
Totally is.
With the girl from
is it
Wonder
White Rabbit or
Woman.
whatever?
No, it's not White Rabbit, but it's the girl from Wonder Woman, or Captain America, I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. Girl from Captain America, and then the guy from Harry Potter, and he dies, and then she finds a way to communicate with him on computer because they take a government or
It's
a
awesome.
company. Anyways, and then they send her a person, and she ends up putting it in the attic, and it's like I can't.
That's
And
the
so-
thing.
And I think that would be my answer too. Is I think at first I'd be like, I think I can do this, but after it keeps going and going, I'd be like, I can't. This is weird.
Yeah, as much as it might be a genuine 100% copy, down to the atomic level as specified in question, and thank you, of Libby, it would not be the Libby that I'm marrying in a month. So
Indeed.
Brag about it.
I think
I'm getting married in a month.
I think I would have to treat it. I don't know. Because it was a living thing, I would treat it with compassion. So I wouldn't
right.
be. But I would probably have to. I would treat it like a completely separate person that just freakishly looked like. They say everybody has a doppelganger, and so
Yeah, it's like when you get a dog named Spot, and the dog gets run over, and then you buy another dog and name it Spot. That's not Spot.
Yeah. I mean, dude, I've had as I grew up as kids, my best friends were like Star Wars toys and shit. So this is way less creepy than
Brag about it.
I slept with my guitar for 14 years. This is less creepy than a lot of scenarios that I've found comfort in. So I would probably just treat the person like a total stranger, and maybe talk to them. And if they're cool as shit, I'm in.
Well, see, that's when I said go somewhere and all. That's personally, I would need space. I wish you all the best because again, a living person like you said, so treated with compassion. But this is too much for me. We're gonna have to live in different states.
I think I would have to find, even though it says perfect down to the atomic level, I would have to find things like this person didn't have an Audi, they had an any. I'm done. I'm out. I can't do this anymore.
Yeah. That's a great question, though. That's a great question.
That is really interesting.
And I think there's a thank you, by the way. I know who submitted that too. Thank you for submitting it. And I think there's definitely a more serious layer to that question. That speaks to our desire to just be comforted, or our desire to actually have a real soul level connection.
Definitely.
If you just need something there, then anybody will do. And that actually goes. Those people, even though you can't clone somebody like that, people do a version of that cloning, and we talked about it on the love episode where they just need attention or they just need whatever, and anybody will do. And you know what I mean? A piece of shit that gives them attention sometimes will win out in their favor over a good person that just didn't give them enough attention. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That says something about the human condition, though, your answers to those questions. So anyway.
All right,
Moving on.
we got question number 2 here. Let's see here.
What? Read it to us.
It's a comment. It's a comment card.
I saw my name. Let me read
What does it say?
Oh, do you want to? Yeah, Casey's name is in
Can
it.
you just
should
show
read
it to us?
I'm assuming that's Randy. Casey.
It's probably
it says
Randy.
Casey still sucks. Yeah, that's Randy.
It's just a favorite
Does he
says
have
that.
any-
Yep.
That's
And
all it
I think there's
says.
another one in here from the wonderful Debbie, who also says Casey sucks.
Oh man, now, guys,
Maybe they work
That's not
together.
technically a question. If you would have put a question mark, we could have talked about it.
Casey sucks?
Casey sucks.
Here.
What? Oh,
The
I get to do
inflection
one?
is what
I think
matters.
that's the one.
This has a heart on it.
Yeah.
Hang on.
That looks like being set
I'm
up.
unfolding. I wish you could. I hope they can hear the sound of this paper unfolding. I think it's very dramatic.
Put it right up on.
You're fucking welcome. This says, besides obvious hobbies that apply to you, what still excites you? Not sexually, haha. Thanks for clearing that up, whoever wrote this. Besides obvious, hang on. Should I do that again? Besides obvious hobbies that apply to you, what still excites you when life seems bleak?
Breakfast.
Fucking damn right. I had some breakfast today, dude.
It's nothing. It's such
So to
a
look forward to-
small thing. But
Oh,
when you
yeah.
wake up and you go, I have eggs. I have bacon. I can make breakfast. And you go downstairs and just make
I
breakfast.
literally, that's what I ate today before I came here, eggs and bacon. It was
You
great.
just get up and it fills your heart with joy. Another one of mine is waking up on like a brisk fall morning and getting a hot cup of coffee and just standing
yeah.
outside. While
God,
the
I
sun,
love
like
that's
the-
it. That's what. Oh, that's
Yeah.
right. I've got a porch. You're gonna have to come over. We might get married. You know what? Turns out Casey and I are each other's soulmate, and then we'll go inside and have breakfast, and then we'll watch Predator.
Hey, I mean, you cut the sex part out and it's just me and you hanging out.
Hunter, what do you got? What other than obvious? So they want to know something that excites us when life seems bleak. That's not obvious.
For me, it's listening to music.
How is that not obvious?
I don't know. I'm trying to think.
You shit on this question. You don't deserve this question.
Oh God.
Is there something that like people that know that you're super into like art and you're super into music and you have a podcast and you're this very cerebral guy, but is there anything that would surprise people that like, oh, I happen to enjoy woodworking or fucking
I don't know. Maybe I'm just super simple. The one of the best times I had last week, decompressing from everything going on, was waking up. I think it was on my day off, or I had just gotten off work, one of the two. But
Yeah.
I was free for the rest of the day, whatever. And I was gonna grab a comic book to read, and I was like, nah, it's a nice day, feels good in the house. So I just went over to this little bench, like in front of a window at Libby's house, and the room was only lit by sunlight. It was like 70 degrees or something, and my little fat cat was right there, and I just sat on the bench with him, and we just chilled for like an hour.
I mean, and I will say that too. Like, I think maybe people listening to this know that I'm into music, just like Hunter, and I've talked incessantly about the thing. I've talked about music ad nauseum, but I'm also really into cats. I fucking love
Dude,
cats.
cats are great.
Yeah, any moment spent with a cat, time well spent.
True.
So,
Yeah,
no,
just chilling with Bilbo.
yeah, no cat, wrong. Cat, good. So, Casey's opening a new. Wait, you didn't answer.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, I did. Breakfast.
Oh shit, that's right.
He's the reason you guys are getting married.
Yeah.
He proposed.
How come you never listen to me?
We'll have to do our love languages. I'm gonna stock up on eggs.
I actually did my love languages. I did the.
Did you really?
Yeah.
What are
Mine
yours?
was
Wait a minute, let me guess.
affirmation.
Words of affirmation. Number.
Yeah.
What was your secondary one?
They all were like basically tied after that. Affirmation was 7.
Dude, I had
Or
I was-
12,
I was
something
tied
ridiculous.
like 3. I was like words of affirmation, acts of service, and like quality time are all tied, and the other ones are just. So I was real even.
I think
across
mine
the
was
board.
words of affirmation and time
Yeah.
spent.
Yeah.
I haven't taken it in years.
Quality
I have to
time.
retake it.
This one's from Debbie. It says Casey sucks. Thank you, Debbie.
Yeah, that's,
Jesus.
That's a prequel to the previous one.
Yeah, that's. Sorry, we did it backwards like Star Wars. The actual question I have.
Okay.
This is 2 questions, but the way I'm going to do it is the first question can only be a one-worded answer. I
Oh,
only
okay.
want I don't want an explanation. I just want the thing.
Got it.
So this one is: if you could bring back any extinct animal, what would it be?
Arsenitherium.
I don't know what that is.
Is that the thing that's probably the Brotherhood of the Wolf? Is that thing?
Actually, that's not a bad guess for it, but it's way bigger. It's the little plastic dinosaur toys that kids used to be able to get in like the 90s or whatever for $1. The weird fucking rhino looking thing that had 2 horns.
Oh yeah.
That.
Oh, interesting.
Because it's essentially a bigger rhino and it's got 2 horns, and that's an oversimplification of it, but it's a really cool animal.
It's hard for me to answer without like.
The Meg already exists. Pick
Well, I was going to
something
say it's not that. It's not that.
Oh.
Because if it did exist, things would be fucked up. It would fuck up the world if it existed. Okay, it would kill a lot of nice things I like in the ocean. So I'm not going to say something extinct that could come back. Oh shit! Go on. Get back to me. I'll have to think.
Common
about
sense.
Woolly mammoth for me.
that. Yeah, mastodon maybe.
Yeah, like a mastodon or a woolly mammoth. I already like elephants. Like when I go to the zoo, I like hanging out around elephants. And
I
so to
love
be able to
elephants,
see a
too.
furry one, I'd be like, yeah, okay, I'm down.
I'm gonna say probably Smilodon, saber-toothed cat.
Oh, okay.
Just because I think it could maybe live without fucking up the world. That or direwolves. Direwolves.
Ooh, direwolves.
Ooh,
would be cool.
direwolf is a good
It's a
choice.
real thing.
I would want to like purposely domesticate them.
Because anything weirder than that, it's just gonna. either die instantly when in this ecosphere or fuck up something else. But those may be able to. They could live somewhere, maybe.
Yeah. So the next question here on the same piece of paper from the same person, which there's no name, but thank you so much for your submission, is if you had to join a cult, which one would you join?
Oh God.
I already have my answer right out the gate. I already know Heaven's Gate. Just because if for some reason he was correct, I'm going to be on a comet in space.
That makes sense. That makes sense for you.
Thanks, Hellbop.
I don't know, man. I'd have to say probably the Republicans or the Democrats. Sorry.
Ooh.
Sorry.
No political jokes.
Liberty, bitch. No. Well, I will say this: if you are thinking about the answer to this question, I highly recommend checking out our pal Timothy's podcast. I Don't Know How to Live, part 1 and 2 of their recent 2 episodes on deadly cults, because they'll give you a wide array of cults you can select from and what they believed and
I
didn't
wonder if
believe.
that's who put that submission in.
It might be.
It probably
might
is.
be. It was great meeting Tips. You're listening, dude. It was great meeting and hanging out and. Man, like I love listening to your show. I was listening to it this morning, part 2 of the Deadly Cults episode.
I don't know enough about actual cults that are out there to answer, honestly. I don't want to.
What were the stipulations on the cult? Did it say real or what?
It just said
it didn't. It just. Oh, that's true.
I totally would join the Dark Brotherhood from Oblivion.
From the Elder Scrolls series,
Damn right.
the Assassins.
I would join the Sith and change the Empire from the inside. That's not true. I'd be a Jedi.
Okay. I feel like you guys need to do more research on your cults.
That's true. That's why I recommend that.
That's
podcast.
what I was admitting it.
I mean, they're all... here, how about this? I want to join a cult. It's called Christianity.
I was gonna say if we can
Zing, yeah.
some of you out
That's
there.
fair.
I mean, that's what most cults are based
I'm
around.
pretty sure,
is
man. Also, I'm pretty sure
saying-
what fucking Sean Ireland would say right now.
Yeah.
Catholicism.
That was gonna be my thing. Was I'm just stay in my church because some of you think that's a cult. So
Yeah.
I'm happy there. Oh God.
Drinking that Flavor Aid.
That's right. Not Kool-Aid. It was corrected.
Yeah, there was a big thing about that at the meetup. Everybody was like,
It was.
definitely was not Flavor Aid, was Kool-Aid. And I'm
No,
like,
it definitely wasn't Kool-Aid. It was Flavor Aid.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because Jim Jones couldn't...
I'm sorry.
couldn't afford Kool-Aid.
Yeah, he couldn't afford Kool-Aid down in South America.
He's like, fuck Crocodile Red. We're all dying.
This is a great question. No name either. Thank you for the submission. Good
Lay it on us,
Lord.
bud.
You are to be eaten by a living land animal of your choice. Which one do you choose and why?
Shit.
Land animal. My
Okay.
first thought was Meg, but that's not a land animal.
Okay.
so-
Oh, it's because we whoever wrote that probably know we've been talking about like this stuff in
Yeah.
the ocean. It's too easy.
Oh, God.
Ocean's too easy.
Yeah, because most things in the ocean can swallow you whole. and
One
you just-
bite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You wouldn't feel anything.
Ooh.
I think grizzly bear. I would want to go out, like, I would do the
Literally
fly.
Trying
go
to
out,
hug it?
Well,
go
it's
out
like-
of its butt because you're going to be poop.
Well,
Oh my
here's the
God.
thing is, so in this scenario, there's got to be a fight that ensues before you get eaten. Like apparently there's no way you can escape. So it's not a flight or fight situation. It's just a
Okay.
fight. And so just the memory after that of, Case got eaten by a grizzly bear. Did he put up a fight? Well, I don't know. We don't really know, but
This is sort of a question of where, because you're going to turn into this animal's poop. It's like a question of where do you want your remains to spend the rest of eternity?
yeah, in the woods.
Hunter?
Well, not the Jotun, for sure.
Real animal.
Quiet you.
It's not really happening, so you can just
I
say,
know, but just like, I'm trying to think I'm thinking about it too much.
You're putting a lot of thought into this. Like, which one would hurt less?
That's exactly
None
what
of
I'm
them.
thinking. A lion would tear you apart pretty quick, though. So,
Yeah, usually lions go for the throat and
Yeah,
trach.
you'd suffocate.
yeah, probably dead before you hit the ground. We'll go lion.
And you could have probably feed like a pride of lions. I mean, you know.
Yeah, it wouldn't be wasted.
I'm going to say bald eagle.
Do you want to get picked
That's
up and
not a
dropped
land
like they do
animal.
with goats?
it's not.
That's not a land animal.
Oh, no, you're right.
That's
He's right.
an air animal.
Bitch, it goes somewhere. It lands
Hey,
occasionally.
a shark can get on the ground, too. That doesn't mean it belongs there. Land animal.
I'm sticking with bald eagle because then I would be transformed into bald eagle poop and majestically pooped out as it streaks across the sky of America.
So basically, you're just happy that you get pooped on cars. You get pooped on cars.
I feel like the bald eagle is super majestic. Have you ever seen one like in real life?
Yeah.
Like you see them on TV and you go, oh, it's a national bird. But you see one in real life and you're like, fuck. It's pretty serious. I'd want to be in that thing's.
But you want to be in an eagle's butt?
it wouldn't
Is
even
that what I
eat all
heard?
of you. It couldn't eat all
Nice
of you.
note. Okay, this one.
Oh, that one looks.
This one has a terrible picture on the outside.
Oh, it does?
Yeah, hang on. Let me open it up real quick. First, I'm gonna show you guys the picture that someone drew on it.
That's got to be Brandon.
It's pretty graphic. It's not.
Thanks, Brandon Lee.
It's not polite. I don't know if it doesn't have a name.
Brandon has a bunch of drawings over there. It's probably Brandon.
Okay, let's see here. Here's a suggestion. This sounds like a suggestion. An episode where you each tell 2 lies and 1 truth.
Ooh.
Then each of you have to guess which is the real story. So we would do an episode, upcoming episode where like we all come in prepared with 3 stories. One of them,
Truth or lie from the late
Jimmy
night
Fallon.
show.
Yeah. Like okay. You know what? We'll look at it. I'm going to put this over here as a possible episode theme for future suggestions. Thank you. Also, thank you for that lovely picture.
I'm not reading that one either. This one's from Brandon Lee. Read that one. I'm not reading that one live. And
I'm fucking reading it.
no,
Read it.
no.
First, it says Pantera rules on the side. And then, if that's for EJ, it says, I don't go down to Casey's work and tell him how to suck dick.
Oh.
How dare him tell me how to play my drums?
I didn't tell you how to play your drum.
Shit.
God.
That's another suggestion. By the way, thanks, Spencer, for telling people that this was a suggestion box, not a question box, because there is a ton of suggestions in here.
I was just trying to get him to put anything in it.
Like you in an eagle's butt?
Here we go. I finally found one out of all the suggestions.
Okay.
This one also doesn't have a name written on it, but it says you find a magnifying glass that when pointed at anybody tells you how they will die. Do you keep it? Yes or no?
Ooh. I don't know.
This
Yes.
reminds me of that scene in
Yes, I'd keep it.
in Big Fish, where they would go. Did you see Big Fish? Mm-hmm. They look in that woman's eye and they see how they're going to die. You know,
Yeah. Do you keep it or no?
definitely not.
Yep.
Yeah, I would like
totally
that.
keep it.
I wouldn't be able to.
It's fascinating, but I don't like that.
Well, if I were just going down the road and like pointing it at complete strangers, it'd be kind of like, whoa, that's crazy. Well, but if I pointed at a friend and I saw and it was something unfortunate, I wouldn't be able to hold the information. Like I'd go, dude, don't do that, and like don't go to that place at that time because you're gonna get shot.
Have you seen Final Destination though? You might be responsible for that happening to them because you told them not to.
Exactly. So that's the whole.
See,
Butterfly Effect.
I would
Best Ashton Kutcher movie that out there.
That's a motherfucking
I don't know if this
responsibility
is,
I don't
if
want.
This speaks to the kind of person I am, but I would do it to strangers and like hold it up and be like, "Hey, bud, don't go near train tracks anytime soon."
Also, I feel like I would eventually turn it around, point it at myself, and then like go up to a mirror to see if I can see how I was going to die. You know, I wouldn't want to. I don't want
That's
to know.
morbid.
I don't want to know.
So I got.
Well, how could you sleep? How could you sleep with that fucking thing like in your bedroom, like on your nightstand, just knowing that it would show you the day, the time, and the place, and the day, and how you're going to go, and not try to look at it. Oh, I couldn't handle it, dude.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. This I got a suggestion here, and it's worth reading.
Okay.
It's from John Ferguson.
Shit.
Oh, great.
I love it.
Uh-oh. We're in trouble.
A new segment where Casey has to go out and do a good deed for a random stranger. It's not done.
Oh man.
And Hunter and Spencer should film it secretly.
That's a TV show. That's a reality show.
Yeah. I felt bad outing it because of the secrecy involved in the suggestion. It was too good.
That's incredible. We could do that on Instagram
Here's
Live.
the joke: is you guys would send me out to do that and then follow me secretly, and all it would do is go back to my house. I'd go back to my house, and the next time I saw, I'd be like, "Yeah, I did it." Like, we followed you home. Be like, "Oh well."
No, that'd be the kind of thing where you had to, like, we all went to like Kroger, and we had our phones, and we're like, "All right, Casey, get in there, do a good deed." And you just had to go to a stranger, go, "Let me carry your bread," or something.
No,
And
it'd be like the Dateline stuff that used to air on ABC or whatever, where they'd have the bad actors pretending to beat the shit out of their kid in a park and see how many people walked by. And it would interview.
I also think it's funny that people don't think I do nice things. I do nice things.
Go over
You
and give
just
them
tell
that
them
idea.
about the bad things.
We've only 30
I just-
episodes into you talking about apathy.
Look, I just don't think telling people all the nice things I do, that just sounds like bragging. If I tell people the nice things I don't do, then that's just funny. That's just good content.
It is, and they need to bring you down off the pedestal that you're held on.
Yeah. I've also, there's several times where I've been at Kohl's and I've gone shopping for clothes and I leave and they hand me that Kohl's cash ticket. And I'm not coming back to Kohl's in the next 6 months, and it's like expires in a month. So I just turn around to the person behind me. I go, "Here you go. There's $10 off your purchase."
Do you want to go to Kohl's with me soon?
No.
Hunter's like, I've been looking at some pants. I got my eye on some socks over there, boy. Are you got one?
I can't wait for you to get to New Jersey and work on that accent.
There, you haven't read one.
This one has a tiny penis drawn on it. What's the best Amazon review you've ever read? What's have you?
My favorite Amazon review was when someone reviewed Deadpool, and it was like an actual like concerned mother, and she was like, "This is not a children's movie. It's supposed to be a superhero movie, but it's very crude and there's a lot of sex." And it's like, yeah, it's Deadpool, you dumb bitch.
With a big fat R. She deserves that, and Casey's right. I'm sorry. The parents still out there going, I don't know how the rating system works. I don't blah, 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 blah. It was publicized in the 70s. It was publicized in the 80s when they changed things and added PG-13. That became a headline. You have been educated. You know the difference between R and G. You can figure out the difference between PG and PG-13. And the same goes for M on video games. Quit complaining about it. It says mature 17 and up. If your kid is 5, don't get it for him.
No shit. Like, I drug my kid into this sketchy movie and then there were boobs on the screen. No shit.
Also, ratings are censorship and should end.
Zing.
God. I have
Zing.
one. I have one that I think will take a minute.
I don't really have an answer for that. The Amazon reviews, like, I just, they're all kind of, I don't know. I've never read an Amazon review that just jumped out at me totally, you know.
There was an Amazon review for a book called Mud and Horn, Sword and Sparrow by Brandish Gilhelm, and it was great.
I'm sure
and
the review was like,
great.
there was no swords or sparrows in this book. 1 star.
It's my favorite fantasy novel. There's a lot of swords and
speaking of fucking book reviews, though, I will say, like, when I was looking at buying the Nick Cutter book, The Troop, I did read a lot of reviews about it, and they were all just like, skin won't stop crawling, like the most visceral thing I've ever put my eyes on. Like, it was, you only had to read 2 or 3 of them, and you were already tapping.
It's a rough read.
Yeah, it's fucking amazing.
All right, so here we go. I have the next one here. I'm not going to read the bottom because that's just not true. What is your least favorite horror movie and why? And in the bottom it says, P.S. M. Night Shyamalan movies suck. Tree trunks.
Spencer, you're not supposed to submit questions to your own podcast.
I didn't submit. Wait, is suck tree trunk a bad thing?
I don't know.
It depends on where you stand on it. It's 2018.
That's right.
You
should stand on the lower branch.
Least favorite horror movie?
Least favorite horror movie.
Do you have? I have to think about that for a second. Do you have an answer, Spencer or
Here,
Casey?
open that. There's something inside that paper.
Least favorite horror movie?
Oh, no, I got one.
Got it? What
The
is it?
Haunting of Molly Hartley.
Oh, you told me that you did not like that.
Yeah.
You in fact said it was a particular piece of shit.
Yeah.
So Molly Hartley.
Yeah.
The Haunting. Mine would be The Haunting with like Owen Wilson and Liam Neeson and Catherine Zeta-Jones, where
I
they're
actually
like,
that one.
no, it's so bad.
The original's way better. Way better.
Yeah.
I didn't hate that one.
Since we can't say anything by M. Night Shyamalan, my least favorite horror movie?
You can say something about M. Night Shyamalan. It just said that he sucks tree trunks.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I kind of don't just habitually hate really bad any horror movie. I like the premise of horror in general, but
Runner-up being the remake for Friday the 13th from 2009. Visually stunning. The changes to Jason and his lore were great. What they did with the slasher half of it, though, was so basic and so not even trying to even do the normal stuff well.
Yeah.
It was clearly they went, well, all the effort went into reinventing Jason, and now we'll just get a bunch of horny, dumb people for an hour.
Yeah.
Also, Cursed. Wes Craven's Cursed, that
I've never
werewolf
seen
movie. It's trash.
Is it?
Yeah, it made me really sad because I like Wes Craven.
Did you like his one about the Reaper or whatever? Like one of the last ones he did before he died? It was like 2010.
I saw that one.
I don't remember what it was called. It didn't.
I think I would have. Okay,
It was good. It didn't complete itself
like
well.
the
but-
later Friday, like Jason in Space has got to be at the bottom of.
Oh my god! But whenever he takes those girls, puts them in the sleeping bag, and
Yeah,
starts
just
smashing them
That's
against
what
the
everyone
tree.
thinks of.
I mean, how stupid! Like Friday the 13th was already campy, but oh my god!
Oh, I'm so dumb. Why didn't I think about this? Rob Zombie's Halloween movies. Those
What?
are the biggest dumpster fires in the entire world.
I disagree. I disagree. I thought
Those
they
are
were,
awful.
I thought they were okay. I think Rob Zombie's a great director.
I think he's a great director. I just don't think that I really care. Look, I think I've said this before. Michael Myers is a supernatural force. Mm-hmm. So giving him a backstory and evolving where he comes from and his thought process and things like, no one wants to know that.
I disagree. I thought the
I thought the first one was interesting.
I did too. I liked how it was set in the 70s and shit, and it was like the intro did in real good. There was like Kiss song in it.
Well, it's
and it
actually
had this-
not. That's one of the coolest things he did. It's visually very much the 70s with
Yeah.
the clothes and the cars and stuff, but they have cell phones in there. He talks on the commentary. He was like intentionally
Yeah.
I made it look like the era it's from, but I didn't discount modern technology because he wanted
I don't
it to
think
be.
they're as good as like the original Halloween, but I think they're going to probably hold up against the new one. No problem.
My favorite Halloween movie is Halloween 2 by Rob Zombie. I think that is an exercise in cinematic gold, and it's sitting down for 90 minutes and watching a nightmare and being taken through what an actual nightmare is like.
And I will say this: I saw an interview with John Carpenter, and I thought it was funny because someone was in the audience was like, "So with Rob Zombie's Halloween movies, there's a lot of talk that you guys don't get along very well." She was like, "Can you add on to that?" And he goes, "I have no problem with the guy." He's like, "I don't know where he got it from that I don't like him." He goes, "But he called me and asked me questions about the Halloween movies, and I said, dude, do it yourself. This is your movie. You do it how you want to do it. Don't do it like how I would do it, and just keep it at that." And he was like, and apparently that son of a bitch took that as I don't like him.
Well, I think it might have not been helped because that came out before the first movie. And
Well, I don't think it's Rob Zombie's best work by a mile. Have you
no.
seen Devil's Rejects?
Yeah,
Devil's Rejects is
good.
phenomenal.
I will say Lords of Salem is probably his worst film.
I
Lords of
love
Salem.
Lords of Salem.
I never saw it.
After hearing how you reviewed Hereditary, I don't know if you'd like it.
Maybe
No.
not. Maybe
You
not.
might because of the end. but
I thought Devil's Rejects was his strongest work by a landslide.
I haven't seen
The three-
31 yet.
The Three from Hell is supposed to be coming out soon. It
Oh,
looks good.
yeah, the
It's
Devil's
Devil
Rejects Part 3
What?
Part 2
next year.
Fuck.
House of a Thousand Corpses.
is Part 1.
was part
yeah.
one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not terrible, but it's a little dumb. Whereas I thought Devil's Rejects was just like wild. It had that same feel that like Natural Born Killers had. It had the same feel that like California with Brad Pitt had. Like it had that like nebulous, like holy fuck, like there's no.
And that's the thing.
This isn't going to end well.
Well,
you know?
that's the thing. I with Rob Zombie, I've started to realize is that he wants people to feel bad for the antagonist.
Mm-hmm.
He wants people to know where they're coming from and that they're not just some supernatural being. Which, in that interview with John Carpenter, is what he said about Michael. Is like you're not the whole point of why Michael's scary is he's a supernatural force that's to be reckoned with.
Yeah.
He's scary because you don't know who he is. Mm-hmm. So making a movie where it's all about who he is, it's not for me.
See,
Yeah,
again,
I
he's
get
right
that.
about that. I
get that.
found it interesting, like Spencer said. I would say I disagree. I think Halloween 2 is his best movie. I haven't seen the newest one. Devil's Rejects made better, but Halloween 2 is kind of like a cover song that in popular consciousness surpasses the original. All respect to Leonard Skinner, but most people think of Shinedown when they think of Simple Man now. I think it's similar to that. Not saying it's right, but I mean you have to admit.
And the singer for Shinedown's a friend of mine, so I'm not gonna shit on that. But like
Yeah.
anyway, we'll get into music one of these days.
But I think it's like a good cover. It's got Michael, it's got all this stuff, but it's very different too.
I get it.
Oh.
I get it.
Sorry. Least favorite horror movie, Blair Witch 2 Book of Shadows.
I was gonna say,
Get.
surely you're not gonna forget to say that. Listen, check
Or
this.
Jeepers Creepers 3 didn't finish.
What was in there?
Listen,
there was
listen.
something in that.
Look. This one.
Oh, wait a minute. I see a cough lozenge. It's for May.
Look. It says all it says is y'all's podcast is sick, and then it's got a Ricola, like a tiny lozenge wrapped up in it.
As much as I clear my throat, I thought it was for me.
Y'all's podcast is sick, and then there's a
Oh my
lozenge.
God.
Thank you for that, whoever.
I was concerned when I saw that there was something in the paper. I was like, gross.
So
Casey, get over yourself.
here's a pretty simple question.
I don't see my name, so I'm happy.
But I think it's for you though.
Oh, God.
It's for all of us, but this is tailor made for you. It speaks
hear
to
it.
the Mandela effect
Let's
stuff.
hear it.
Are we living in a base reality? Which begs the question, what is a base reality as well?
Spence, we look.
We spoiler, we had to stop and Google that to be able to answer this. Basically, a base reality is the opposite of a simulation. So recently, Elon Musk was on the Rogan podcast, and it's a very famous episode where he made some statements that I don't necessarily agree with, but he said that we are almost definitely living in a simulation, that this almost can't be a base reality. A base reality would be the singular reality that everything emanates forth from. So if we're in a simulation, it's not a base reality. The other actual reality, like in the Matrix, when they come out of the Matrix and they're in those pods and the world is all horrible and dystopian, that was the base reality. That means the simulation ends at that core reality. that too complicated?
No, I got it.
Basically, if we're in a simulation, we're not in a base reality, and vice versa. Go.
Yeah, I don't think we're in a base reality.
You believe we're in a simulation, right? You believe none of this is real.
I mean, I don't necessarily mean it has to be a simulation. I just don't think this is our base reality. I think that of course, I'm also kind of, I don't want to say a full-blown believer in multiverse theory, but I think it's fascinating in that the idea that you get deja vu because when you sleep, your multiple universe or parallel universe subconscious all meet in a area when all you sleep. And so whenever you go somewhere that you've never been before and you're like, it's weird, I've been here before. Like I've walked down this hallway and if I turn right, there's a red door. And then boom, you turn right and there's a red door. And you're like, how did I know that? And so that's kind of the multiverse theory. Also, it's just really fascinating to think that, people talk about life after death and things like that. Like what if you died and then you wake up and it's basically like you wake up in one of those pods, those like gunk pods from the Matrix, and someone just like pulls you out and they're like, hey, what you've just went through is not real. This is real. How crazy would that?
That would be the base reality.
Yeah, that would be the base reality. I find that stuff fascinating. I think it's absolutely incredibly interesting to think about and to like ponder over.
It's horrifying to think about too. It is interesting, but that's brain breaking, dude.
I've put myself in like an existential crisis before thinking about this stuff.
That's what I'm saying, though. That's the end result of that. That's why you don't go down the rabbit hole.
Yeah, but it's so fascinating to go down that rabbit hole.
Well, it's kind of like Jordan Shipley said that at some point it's just turtles all the way down. Like it's just everything's a leap of faith into like a smaller. It becomes like a fractal. It's like fractal thinking. Well, what if there's a universe on the head of a pen? Well, then what in that universe if they have pens and on the head of those pens is another universe and blah 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 blah. I'm going to go ahead and say I do not believe we're in a simulation, and here's why. Because there's too much shit in life that is pointless. There's too much crap that would not be worth the technology it takes to simulate it. And I'm talking about solitary moments.
What if it's not somebody doing that? What if it's literally a computer that just builds?
There are things that would never have, if a computer system or a artificial intelligence were to become that, this is just my opinion. If an artificial intelligence were to become that advanced that it could run this type of a simulation that lasted this many years, that had this many like fine points, like when you're alone in the bathroom pooping, the things you think about, the fly that lands on the nightstand, everything. If all of that stuff is being simulated, there are just, in my opinion, things in life. If it were a simulation, it would be a little more exciting than this.
What?
I think that there are parts of life, like when you wake up and your shoulder is sore for no fucking reason. When, you know what I mean? When you step in water with your sock and you go, God damn it. And just there's just stuff, we talk about it now, it's funny, but there's so much stuff that just isn't germane to the story. The fact that if somebody writes a story, they still have to edit it. The fact that Stephen King has to edit 30% of his story to get a book that's still 1,200 pages. Life is like that times 100. And it's just not, that would not be in the algorithm. For anything that advanced, it would have been written out by then. And we would be literally living in like the movie Blade Runner by this point. I think if it's a simulation,
what if time works differently? But what if for the algorithm in this AI that's making the simulation that's only been about 30 minutes?
Yeah, maybe.
And it's still trying to fix bugs and glitches and lags.
In that case, I would say if we're living in a simulation, it's a pissy simulation and your computer sucks. I hope you're listening right now. You need to start over.
Or what if we're not even in a computer simulation, but some sort of like bioorganic? Like we're just on a petri dish in some laboratory.
I've had thoughts like that all the time.
That to me would be more exciting.
Yeah.
Because it would have a biological aspect instead of just
basically just telescope out like in any kind of weird show, or I don't know, it's done it before where it's like shown a person and it's like zoomed out and then it's like shows the universe and then an atom, and then that atom goes onto like an eyelash of a person and the person's like rubs their eye. And
those are all real popular things to think about. I just don't think it matters.
And that's why I think science in itself is just fascinating. Things like this.
Well, and that's why I think science is fascinating, but science also has a wooden leg. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like fucking, it's still flawed because at the end of the day, it doesn't change anything. If we're in a simulation, if we're not, we still have free will. And the big stuff still matters more than anything. If we're in a fucking computer, if we're in a petri dish, if we're at the end of an eyelash, if we're a speck of moon dust floating through the cosmos.
You still got to get out there and vote.
You still got to get out and vote, yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah. You still got to get out. Sooner or later, you're faced with a moral decision. And how you make that decision is absolutely the most the biggest thing in life, everything.
So let me ask you this: since you say science has a wooden leg, I'm fascinated.
Totally.
Does religion have a wooden leg?
Well, you'd have to define religion for me to answer that.
Yeah, religion.
Does Christianity have a wooden leg?
Sure.
But you're
It's a
asking.
couple. It's like 14 wooden legs. Absolutely. Organized religion. But
See, that's the question. When you say religion and when you say Christianity, what aspect of it are you talking about?
yeah, I feel like, and again, no offense, but I feel like you, like many people, want to put those in, fence those things in, and they're not small concepts. I think they're far bigger concepts than science. I think theology is way a vaster conversation than the cosmos.
Yeah, the belief in something that is existentially real that is outside of science because science exists as a result of it.
Right. It has good and evil. Mm-hmm. Science doesn't.
Have you ever...
Science just says this is a set of facts and figures and stimuli across a broad spectrum of, like, we can see, this nebula 85,000 miles away, but it just sits there. It does nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It has no inference. It has no consequence. It's just there. The universe is this cold, violent place, which is true. But why? That's the thing. I think theology, to me, is the most exciting thing because it answers the question of why, not what.
But I'd say
there's a speck of dust on the table. What does it mean? And there you go. That's the big thing.
Spencer saying yes to your question just now on whether or not religion does is true. It just depends on exactly what you're trying to define when you say that.
And I also want to say I don't think science and religion are opposing armies.
They're harmonious.
100%.
Naturally.
I do not believe that it's science versus religion ever. I feel like that's a
Until
popular.
you talk about evolution.
Evolution.
And how old the planet is.
That's not religion.
And
that's,
whether or not fossils
just,
have been put in the earth by the devil to trick us into losing our faith to God.
Yeah, but smart religious people don't believe that.
Yeah, that's
thank God.
That's small-minded people trying
no pun
to
intended.
keep.
You got stupid people on both sides. You got a lot of dumb people that believe that in chaos theory and believe that there's, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of stupid like people that think they're scientifically minded.
Well, you know how Trump said that Mexico is going to pay for the wall? The people in charge will always peddle bullshit to try and keep themselves in charge and to try and get the power that they want.
Fucking A.
Why did we get on this?
That was rad.
I'm just trying to...
That was awesome. Yeah, he's right. Let's move on from this. So, simulation. Casey believes in simulation. What was your vote?
I think it'd be fascinating.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, my vote, just real quick, that stuff is fascinating. I think about it all the time, always have, from the time I was a child. My answer is we are in a base reality, but the most recent bit of evidence I've seen that suggests there could be possibility that we're in a simulation is Eminem not being able to come back in MGK in a diss track.
Why would he need to?
Wait, he did
because he's Eminem. No, not being able to. No. Kill Shot's real. Not being able to. He did come back.
But it sucked? I didn't listen to it.
No, it didn't suck. It was good, technically speaking, of course, but it was good, funny, and he had some really good jabs at MGK. But if you objectively look at them, MGK beat the shit out of him, and MGM, the studio went bankrupt. Eminem came back and was
Eminem is now fighting Singing in the Rain at the box
yeah,
office.
you're right. I did block you from the radio, and I am rich, and blah, blah. Well done, but it's like, all of the stuff that he came at you with, you're agreeing with.
I don't think that
and
was
making
real.
fun of his appearance.
Man,
it is real.
No, I don't think Eminem was the one that did that.
Kill Shot was totally real.
Yeah.
No, because he did an interview with Sway, and Sway was like, "Are you going to do a diss track back?"
No,
and he goes,
I was
"No,
confused.
I'm not going to do that."
I was confused because of that. Like, I agreed with you. I almost didn't click on it.
In the comments of Kill Shot, people are like, "This is cool, but this isn't really Eminem. It's a guy it's an impersonator."
But it's on his main channel, though. Like, Eminem's actual main channel. That was the thing that made me click on it. I ultimately think Eminem did that album to light a fire under himself and the genre, and MGK came at him, and he was like, it's not good enough, though. So he put a weak-ass rebuttal out there so the MGK would get mad and come back with more fire, and then M could come back with more fire.
I have something for this
That's
whole
what
situation. No one gives a shit.
Thank you.
No one cares about shitty rappers fighting against each other.
I gotta say, like,
Beastie Boys for life, motherfucker.
I mean, even
That's fair.
Yeah, and
They are the true rap gods. Actually, it's more hip hop, but yeah, it's whatever.
yeah, and they're also there's like 75 acts better than the Beastie Boys that are black. But anyway, no offense, but like you're still talking about lame white rappers all the way back. I hate to say it,
Run
but
DMC, J Master J.
Jam Master J was it? Just so
Yeah,
you know.
Jam. No, I didn't say Jam. Sorry.
Anyway, Run DMC is, but then previous to that, you've got Sugar Hill Gang, you've got Grandmaster Flash, Grandmaster Melly Mel. I mean, there's
Bone
like
Thugs and Harmony.
even Bone. Well, I'd probably take Beastie Boys over Bone Thugs, but getting back to that, and not to make a racial episode, I'm just saying, like, rap came from somewhere, and it wasn't Beastie Boys. They were great.
21 Pilots rap is really good, though. So
I like 21 Pilots a lot.
But they're
great. Anyway, but no, I'm
yeah.
talking about the whole Eminem versus MGK thing. If you like one of them, okay. Good.
They're both shitty people.
Well,
Dude, I favor
I
him.
can't say that. I don't know that for a fact, but here's the thing. Just who have the people that are behind this like war between the two of them, like, oh, MGK, like he spit rhymes, yo, he flowed on him, yo. I'm literally, if I have 5 minutes to step away from my grueling, mind-numbing fucking job to open my phone and open social media, immediately I'm watching pictures of like people in North Carolina that have lost their homes.
Yeah.
And they left their pets literally tied up on the porch and drove to another state. They just left them there to drown, and people are wading through the fucking town trying to save dogs and
those
cats.
people
and
should have taken their pets with them.
Yeah, but that's the world we live in. Shit like that's happening, and somebody's got time to literally buy a pair of fucking sneakers with lights in them and go on their stupid phone and comment on which white rapper got the best of the other one that week. I'm not buying it. Sorry,
no,
but
it's not that important.
Eat shit.
I think
okay?
it's just the excitement for bettering a genre that is capable of more than it is right now.
You had a much more eloquent answer than me. I got a little cranky there. I feel like if you've got time to type MGK
Hey,
or
Spencer, where's
Eminem,
your diss track? Hunter just threw it down on you.
if you've got time to type either of their names, you could go outside and fucking do something nice for somebody.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not you, Casey,
Not me.
but maybe you should comment on Eminem. But
Maybe our band will come out and just kill the music scene in Knoxville.
I don't know. Who cares, man? Yeah, I didn't see like a highly intellectual argument on either side of that table. Fucking. I don't know. Do we have any more? Are we all out of questions?
Was that the last one?
It's empty, dude. We had suggestions for future episodes over here, but I don't know.
Something clever about Trump in relation to religion and science was said one.
This week on the Rogan podcast, they featured Tulsi Gabbard, or Gabbard, however you say her name, Congresswoman from Hawaii, and holy shit, man, that's who should be our first female president. By all means, she's sharp as a tack.
I would get out and vote for her.
Go watch it.
Hands down.
Yeah, go watch it.
I did post. I posted it yesterday. I haven't made any actual Facebook posts about it, but I posted my first Let's Play to our Beacon House channel.
Yeah.
I played a game called Oxen Free, which is very like story driven and dialogue driven. Not a lot of action going on.
I've heard of it.
Very mysterious.
Viewer requested too. Right?
Viewer requested.
Oh.
And it's interesting. The dialogue, I make fun of a lot of dialogue. Like at one point, a character named Ren, who is friends with your character, they're talking about playing Truth or Slab. And one of the questions is like, isn't it Truth or Dare? And the guy Ren goes, yeah, it's Truth or Dare, or it's kind of like Truth or Dare, except you don't end up licking someone's butthole at the end. And I couldn't let that go. I was like, what kind of fucking Truth or Dare is this guy playing where he's licking buttholes?
The realest one.
But I'm going to kind of do that kind of stuff sporadically just to bring more people to our YouTube channel.
Right.
Maybe do a little comedy sketches here and there. I do have a question for you guys. Because October's coming up.
I was about to say we're approaching October rapidly.
Yeah. I think we should watch a horror movie maybe once every 2 or 3 days. Post it on Facebook. Let our viewers also give us them time to watch it and then talk about it in the comments below. And kind of
That'd be fun.
do a discussion on some horror movies throughout
Beacon
the
House
whole
horror.
month of October.
I'm not opposed to it. Watching 2 or 3 movies a week is a stretch for me, but
That's why I'm
maybe one a week.
one a week. That'd only be 4, so we'd have to pick some really good ones.
Yeah, I had a thing. I wanted to go. I was going to watch the new season of American Horror Story, which came out this week, and like I went on and I was like, well, I mean, I don't have cable because fuck Comcast. I'm never paying for cable again. Eat shit.
Okay.
Well, I used to have roommates, and when I had roommates, they wanted the total cable package. They wanted cable and internet, and we had Comcast because they were paying me to live with me, And as soon as they were gone, I canceled it because I don't watch TV.
Yeah.
I rarely watch movies or TV. Like I try. The older I get, I try to spend less time in front of the TV and blah blah blah. But there's certain shows I like, and American Horror Story is one of them. And the new season's supposed to be fucking lights out. So what I'll usually do is just go online and watch a show at their website, like FX, blah blah. And now, like I went on there and like you have to put in your TV provider to even watch it on their website, even if you're willing to watch commercials. And so I spent like 5 minutes going, well, okay, I'll try to sign up for a free trial. No, wait, blah, blah, blah. It only recognizes if you have like Xfinity. And I was like, finally, fuck you. I didn't watch it.
Just wait a year and watch it on Netflix.
Well, I can
dude.
always go to one of those like crappy, like fucking. I've got one of those apps where you stream brand new movies and shit. It like use torrents and stuff, and it's totally like shady. And I tried not to do that, but like they're making it so impossible to just watch the show, even online, even with the commercials, even with. I mean, I'll sit through like 3 minutes of commercials just to do it the right way, but I'll do it on their website. You know, they're not even letting you do that. They're trying to do this YouTube like subscription sort of thing. I'm like, fuck you, FX. I'll just go steal American Horror Story when I get back from New Jersey. Eat shit.
Good job, Spence.
Yeah.
Stick it to the man.
I feel so.
Well, I
alone
try to do it
being
the right way, and
anti-piracy.
like they're so like they made it so hard to even like look at it. And I'm like, all right, fuck you.
I feel like that right there is the first steps towards what happens when net neutrality gets cut out. Mm-hmm. Where they basically put a stranglehold on things that they know people are going to want to watch, and you have to have a service provider like Comcast or Charter or Cox Cable or Time Warner.
I'm never paying
just to watch
$100
your-
for cable and internet ever again, never. Because 96% of it is just crap. Channels you don't want. 600 channels of weird radio stations. You know, I've got Spotify.
I think it would have been worth it for back in the old days when History Channel did what it did.
History.
Yeah, History
MTV
and
had
Biography
music
was a
videos.
biography channel, and I don't put
that was
History on to
basic.
see Pawn Stars. So
Is this where we've come to? Talking about TV channels?
No shit.
Is this where we are right now?
I mean, I think it's worth talking about how bad cable sucks, you know.
okay, so why don't you guys and the social media outlets that Casey will list at the end of the episode?
Ding.
Why don't you guys get in the comments and tell us the 4 movies that you want covered in October?
Damn
Ooh,
right.
that'd be a
And
good poll.
bonus points for any horror wedding themed ones because I will be missing the 4th week of October.
Got it.
Getting married.
That's perfect. No, that's good. Yeah, if you want us to watch a horror movie and talk about what's your favorite horror movie? We're coming up on October. Let us know. Let us know so we can go into maybe it's something we haven't seen. You know,
Doubtful. For
Doubtful,
Hunter.
but you never know.
Spencer's probably not seen it, but
probably.
They have sound in movies now, Spencer.
we have to be
It's gonna
really
be exciting as fuck.
If we're only gonna do 4 movies, we've got to pick really good ones, like really good ones.
I mean, I think the penultimate horror movie of all time is Pet Sematary. I don't think it's
that one should
I
definitely
don't
be
think
the
it
last
can
one
be
we
beaten
watch.
or will ever be beaten. I think it's the best horror movie ever.
It's not, but
Oh.
we'll let them think that.
I'll watch it because I'm excited for the remake and I want to be able to talk about it with you guys.
Did you see
but
what they posted this week about the remake? The director put
you
out,
send it to us.
he put
every
out a
time you
blurb.
post something,
Dude, but
Spencer.
he was very much like, we're going much deeper than the original movie. We're going into the psychology of all that terrifying stuff in the book. Like, we're really going to try to flesh that out. And it's the guy that did Starry Eyes. So I believe if he commits himself, if there's not some jackal in the production office, if there's not some dick in the pudding somewhere, if that guy's allowed to really do what he said he was going to do, or I guess it's probably already done shooting now, if he pulls that off and gets into the psychology of that story with his super visceral capabilities, like, oh man, I think it's going to be lights out. But again, I'm marginally hopeful because all the remakes lately are sort of like,
Lorenzo Di Bonaventura is the producer that posted that, and he made the G.I. Joe and Transformers movies. So
shit.
he's also made some very good movies to his credit.
But who's the Starry Eyes guy? The director?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Well,
the director is going to be
Well, as long as that guy just shows up and writes the
Most
fucking check and
vital.
then gets the fuck out.
Yeah.
Lets him have his way.
his actual producer job.
Which
is to do
definitely
that.
seems with the movies that the guy's produced is what he does. He lets
you got sick cast, Lithgow. I'm on board.
Jason Clark.
Fuck yeah. This has got all the things it needs to but we'll see.
I'm so ready for Overlord.
Oh yeah, that looks good too. That looks
I'm so
really
ready
good.
for Overlord.
What do you think's in the box?
Clover.
I would love that so much, but I just don't.
I
do you
don't
think that
see
they?
it
I
being
don't see it.
connected to Cloverfield at all,
See it
but I
happening.
really want it to be.
There's a really simple way that it can be in Cloverfield lore, but we won't dive into that now. But
I mean, we got time.
Actually, we're pretty much at the end of our time right now. Anyway, well, guys, thanks for submitting some questions and some suggestions. We've got your suggestions over here separate from the questions we answered. We will look at doing that in upcoming episodes. Please let us know below in the comments or anywhere you text us, whatever. Just get in touch with us. Let us know what horror movies you want us to talk about or horrific things, hauntings, anything, spooky stuff you want us to talk about for Halloween. Let's all get involved in this. We would love to see everybody take a part. And Casey, why don't you tell them where they can find us on social media?
Instagram, Beacon House Knox, or at Beacon House Knox. Twitter, which I don't. If you guys, like I said, if you guys want to pull up the Twitter, it's such a garbage pile now that I don't get on Twitter anymore.
I still check it. So
You still check our Twitter? So at Beacon House Knocks on Twitter, Facebook, The Beacon House Podcast, YouTube, The Beacon House Podcast. Guys, like, subscribe, comment, talk to us. We're usually at least one of us are around the social medias at some point in the day. So leave us a comment. We'll chat it up with you. Don't forget, if you go to YouTube and you do subscribe, to hit that bell so that way we upload a new video every week.
That's right. And something I've been listening to, like, again, we listen to a lot of other podcasts that we love, and like I feel like something we forget to ask for a lot is reviews. It helps us a lot if you give us a review. If you're on iTunes, just go in there. If you've got a minute, tell us what you think. Doesn't even have to be good. If you think we suck, tell us we suck. But just say something about it. So maybe we can extend the reach of Beacon House a little bit,
Well, also just to make it nicer for you since you're listening in the first place.
Yeah.
We've been, the three of us, just chilling, talking for years.
Straight up.
It needs to be entertaining for you.
Also, it would be nice for us to read nice things about ourselves.
Positive affirmation.
It would help our self-esteem a lot.
Especially after how many Casey sucks as it came out of this box.
Hell, you are the antagonist.
Guys, if you get us,
Am I the villain of the podcast?
You're definitely the villain of the podcast, but that's such a
Really?
cool thing to be. Think about it, dude.
I didn't think I was the villain. I didn't think any of us were villains.
if you're the villain, you're the Rob.
Shut up,
Zombie
Hunter.
villain.
I didn't think any of us were really villains. I feel like
Look, don't get all sensitive now. Okay, when you've done a good deed, you come back and talk to us.
I'm gonna go not give money to a homeless person now.
Oh my.